What up, everybody? This is your favorite host, Khalif Adams, and welcome to our new podcast, The People's Pregame. You, the fans, chose the name of our podcast, and now we're giving you the keys to control everything about this show.
What's up, everybody? Jo Beth DeVary here, the host of NBCLX and a fan of the Beast, and this is The People's Pregame.
On this week's episode of The People's Pregame, we have FCF insider Mike Gavin with his standouts for week one. 49ers insider Matt Maiocco teaches us how to cover TO, and we get a chance to talk to Season 1 Championship MVP Ed Crouch. But first, here's a special game day report from our hot take contest winner, Sir Doom 34.
Yo guys, what's up? Sir Doom 34 here, co-host, new guest co-host. We're out here at the FCF Stadium, brand new, first week. I got to tell you, man, the energy in here is amazing. We got the players going in behind us. The whole area, dude, is just, everyone's having a great time. The whole place is a buzz, man. It's like nothing I've seen before. I've seen pictures and videos of this place. Doesn't do it justice, man. This is amazing. This is great to be here, hang out with everybody, see all my friends that I have been talking to online but haven't been able to actually meet yet. And the quality here, dude, this is, everybody else that's competing out there, all the other leagues, they got to watch out, man. They don't have anything like this. They can't touch it. It's impossible.
Rolling right, stepping up, has time, lets it go towards the end zone, tipped up, intercepted, taken away. Deshaun Benton will wrap up this victory for the Board 8 Football Club.
So I am super excited to be bringing on Sir Doom. Sir Doom, winner of our contest about the hottest takes that we saw going into week one. Sir Doom, thank you so much for rocking and being our first co-host on the People's Pregame. How are you doing?
I'm good. Thank you guys for having me. I've been excited for this. I've been really looking forward to it.
So I'm super excited and hyped to have you here for a bunch of reasons. One, because I want to live through your eyes. We got a chance to see some great footage there about, your day at the venue and at the stadium, checking out week one, checking out the opening of all of FCF season 2.0. What were your thoughts kind of going into that day, getting ready to kind of go to the stadium, to the venue, and all the energy that was around it?
Oh man, the night before, I was like a kid on Christmas. I couldn't sleep. I'm sitting there DMing everybody, whether it be on Twitter or in our Discord chat. I'm just like, it's tomorrow. It's finally starting. It's gonna happen. I parked at the venue. I walked inside and I instantly got chills. I started looking around. I was like, it's finally here. We can finally be here in person, and I have a feeling that this season is going to be absolutely amazing.
And joining me in Sir Doom is Mike Gavin. He's going to be coming in from NBCLX, the FCF insider. What were some of the kind of biggest takeaways that you kind of came away from week one of the FCF?
Well, I know everybody was there to see Terrell Owens and some of the bigger name players there, but it was really some more unheralded players that kind of stole the spotlight and ran away with things. But I know we're going to talk about T.O. a little bit later, but I do have my popcorn here in his honor for playing his first FCF game, scoring his first touchdown.
I mean, I don't have my pom-poms. I unfortunately left them at home. I sadly don't have them to shake with me this week. But I want to go through the three of the folks that you think were kind of standouts for week one in your time watching the game this past weekend.
Yeah, I mean, I think you got to start with Jakobie Baker from the Board 8 Football Club. I mean, a lot of people were saying coming into week one that Baker had the potential to be a real sleeper in the league. Young guy, 21 years old, converted from defensive back to his original position at running back, and he had a really strong showing in preseason, and that continued during week one. He gets drafted in the fourth round, ends up scoring 4 touchdowns in the first week of the Fan Control football season. So 3 of those touchdowns came on the ground, really explosive off the line, finds the holes, quick cuts, And then for his fourth touchdown, he makes the spinning catch in the end zone, keeps his foot in bounds for the winning touchdown with 8 seconds left to give the team the win. So nobody will be sleeping on him anymore after a franchise tag-worthy performance like that. And what's funny is that the Bored Apes defense, they pass around the turnover chain, as you know, to whichever teammate forces a turnover. So it's this big, thick gold chain with a big pendant of a Bored Apes logo on it. And they actually put it on Baker during the game, which you've had a good day when you're an offensive player and the defense is giving you their turnover chain.
Doom, did you get a chance to touch the chain? Because that's a big part of the conversation.
I haven't gotten a chance yet. I'm still working on it. I keep texting AJ Call. I'm like, hey, you want me? Can I just borrow it for a minute? I'll bring it back. I just want to take some pictures. Is that okay? And he hasn't responded yet. I'm not quite sure why, but I'm working on it.
I'm hoping that you get a chance to.
Item.
It would be a great giveaway item.
You make some replica turnover chains for the Bored Apes.
That would actually be pretty sweet. I mean, there's a lot of work to do to get that thing together, but I definitely want to see that happen. Doom, you were there. You got a chance to see the plays happen in real time. What was the kind of vibe in the venue?
I can't begin to describe it. It was absolutely incredible. All of us apes were together watching the game in one spot, and we were losing it the whole time. We couldn't stop yelling. We're sitting there high-fiving each other constantly. We were so hyped up. We're sitting there thinking, like, what should we call next? What's the next move? What are we going to do? It's just like the energy, not only in the group that we had sitting there watching the game, but the whole arena was on a level I have never felt in my life.
Mike, so we got our first pick for folks that were standouts from week one. Who was your second pick that you would like to share?
Yeah, I think we got to move to the defensive side of the ball because really the defenses stole the show in week one. I think really low scoring week mostly. So we got to start with Qwan'Tez Stiggers from the Beasts. Youngest player in fan control football this season, just turned 20 years old a few months ago. After the game, he was talking about how playing in the league, he's like everybody's little brother. But usually when you're playing sports, it's usually the older brother who dominates the little brother. But that wasn't the case this week with Stiggers, who showed no brotherly love at all for his elders this week. He had 3 interceptions, becoming the first player in fan-controlled football history, I believe, to have 3 interceptions in one game. And the last one, he returned 30 yards for a touchdown. So as a defensive back, you can't really have a much better debut than that. And he did it all before he's even legally allowed to purchase an alcoholic beverage. So pretty good start to his FCF debut.
We know drinks will not be on Qwan'Tez anytime soon until he hits that year, that 21 years of age.
The first thing I thought is, wow, I hope we don't play him. My next thought was that it didn't matter what was going on that field. He just goes, the ball's mine. And he makes it happen.
This kid, we've heard a lot of stories and a lot of conversations about him, throughout the kind of lead up into the season. And so far, even just in week one, he is living up to all of it. So it'll be really interesting to see kind of where he lands, if, how redrafts go, if he gets franchised in some way, how those conversations wind up happening. So Mike, what's your third pick for folks that we should be checking out?
So we're going to go opposite of Terrell Owens here, and that would be Julian Charles, who was one of the defensive backs on the Should Have Been Stars that was primarily responsible for defending him. And now this is a guy that was a defensive back out of Mississippi College, went from not playing football for 5 years to all of a sudden being in man coverage against T.O. So, week one, welcome back. Here's a Hall of Fame wide receiver, go stop him somehow. So he said when he first found out that he was going to be playing against Owens, he spoke to his roommate, Isaiah Edwards, who was also a defensive back on the Stars, and he told him he wants first dibs on Owens to start out the game. He wants that challenge. And he told him his game plan going in was to not let him get a single catch the whole game. So he almost did it. A 40-minute game, he held him without a catch for 39 minutes and 59 seconds, and then Owens gets that last-second touchdown to end the game. Didn't have an impact on the game, but he still – of course, that was the clip that went viral from week one, and Charles was on the opposite end of that, unfortunately. But it really doesn't it's really not indicative of the game that Charles had, holding a Hall of Famer without a catch for almost an entire game. I had a chance to talk to Julian Charles about what it was like defending a Hall of Famer in Terrell Owens, and here's what he had to say.
What's funny is me and my roommate he's on the same team as me as well. We kind of discussed who's going to guard him first, and I was like, I'll get first dibs on it, and then you take it from there. But it was fun. I had a blast. For him to be that old and still be fit is amazing. Is unreal. So all I tell is everybody, stay focused, stay locked in. It's a big moment to put yourself on notice as well, because he's going to bring a lot of eyes to this league. And get hands on him, and play ball, play your game.
Doom, I know I was, waiting with bated breath to see, T.O. kind of come out and make his debut. What was it? What did it feel like when he finally got onto the field and you finally saw 81 making his debut?
And it was fun to see him interact with all the players like he's known them for the last 4 or 5 years. And he's boosting everybody up, which is nice to see.
On that one deep route, he had his defender beat down the sideline, and if that ball was on target, that's an easy touchdown, and that's the touchdown that we're all seeing going viral and getting all these headlines on the internet, but the throw was short, unfortunately. So once T.O. and his quarterback develop that rapport and get their timing down, I think we'll see more and more flashes of the old T.O.
Julian Charles knows how to cover T.O. on the field, but now let's talk to NBC Sports Bay Area 49ers insider Matt Maiocco about what it's like to cover T.O. off the field. We are here with Matt Maiocco, the preeminent 49ers insider from our friends over at NBC Sports Bay Area, who's entering his 27th season covering the 49ers. Matt, thank you so much for being here. Really do appreciate the time. How are you holding up? How are you doing?
Oh, we're doing great over here. Just, gearing up for the draft, covering the 49ers, a little bit of Deebo Samuel drama and a little bit of mystique and intrigue about what's going to happen with Jimmy Garoppolo in the quarterback situation this season.
Today, we're bringing you in because you are the T.O. expert.
Right. Fan Control Football has their own mystique and drama, and you're familiar with it.
Yes, I am. Terrell Owens, 48 years old, right? And still catching touchdown passes.
T.O. is 48. He's in the league. He's in the Fan Control Football League now. Have you seen anything like this in your career covering sports?
Not to this extent. A player playing football coming back at that age. Terrell Owens has been out of the game since I guess his 2011 was the last year he played. He tried to hook on in 2012 with the Seattle Seahawks. Kind of had a rough training camp with them and got cut before the final cuts, and so never got a chance to play in the league after that. I know he certainly wanted to come back to the 49ers during the Harbaugh days when the 49ers had some issues at wide receiver, but it never quite worked out. So this is a thing. It's kind of funny. A few years back, I was with him and we were in LA and I did a sit-down interview with him. And before the interview even started, this wasn't very long ago. Like 3 years ago. And he pulled out his phone and started showing me pass routes that he was running. And he basically was telling me, don't I look good? And yeah, he did. And at that point, he was probably 45 years old. And so I don't think he ever retired. He never said he was done playing football. And here we are, 10 years after he stepped on an NFL field, and he's still playing football.
To go back to 1996 when he joined the 49ers as a rookie, what are the changes that you've seen in his career to get him to where he is now from your perspective?
Well, when he came in, he was kind of this skinny, very talented rookie. He worked his butt off to get to the point where he was this sculpted Adonis-like figure. I mean, he was huge. I mean, that's just the strength that he had and the speed that he had. I remember one year the 49ers signed a kid from Florida State who was a sprinter, like a all conference sprinter. Terrell challenged him to a race, and they got out there on the field, during a practice or day before a game, and Terrell Owens blew him away. So he was this guy that had this incredible mixture of physical skills, the strength, the speed, the want to, the work ethic, and man, did he have an attitude. He had an attitude of kind of him against the world. And that's how he approached the game. And there was always something going on. There was always some kind of drama, and there was always stuff happening around him. But when stuff was going on, that's when he played his best football. Whether there was a controversy or whatever it was, he had this ability to just kind of push it to the side and just go out there and dominate a football game.
With fan control football, you have a lot of folks who are in the mix who are, not necessarily new to that competitive layer, but now having folks like T.O., on the opposing team is going to raise a level of competition in that way. Do you feel like T.O. is going to be able to kind of like raise that level for folks too, just seeing how competitive he's been over his career?
If you asked him today, I'm sure he could tell you that he would be one of the top, if not the best wide receiver in the game in the NFL if he were to play today. So I don't think his mindset has ever changed. His confidence has never wavered, and his mindset has never changed. I mean, he feels like, there's this fuel inside of him, and whatever it takes for him to get to that mindset of kind of, like I said, kind of a him against the world type of thing, he's going to tap into that, and he's going to play with a chip on his shoulder, and he's going to want the football in his hands. And I'm sure at age 48, I think he only had the one pass that he caught that game, and it was a touchdown, and his team lost. I guarantee you his mindset after that game was, throw me the football more, I will catch more touchdown passes, and our team won't be losing.
I kind of loved that you talked about, having that long memory and kind of leaning into that T.O. I don't even know if it's a persona. It feels like it's just, how T.O. just rolls. But
you know what? Here's the thing. I think there's Terrell Owens, and then there's T.O., the superhero. That's the guy that I remember with the 49ers. I don't even think it was Halloween, to be honest with you. I think it was just a regular day during the middle of the season. And here comes a guy into the locker room dressed up as Spider-Man and couldn't tell who it was. Well, it was Terrell Owens. And I think that, his cape, his armor, his superhero costume were the pads, the jersey, and the helmet that he had put on. And he would transform into this, for lack of a better term, football superhero named T.O.
Yeah.
So let's see what the football superhero T.O. looks like in his Fan Control Football Zappers uniform.
Now maybe you get one here.
So here's a 1st and 10 on the 11, likely last play. Horton steps up, throws to the end zone, up for grabs, hauled in, Terrell Owens, his first catch in fan-controlled football history and his first touchdown. It'll come a little too late, but it's what the Zappers fans were looking for.
We got exactly what we was waiting for, but it was not at the right time.
Just seeing, him still have his form and still kind of be in that element and feel like he's still there. We know that he learned a lot from Jerry Rice when he was in the league and connecting in those ways. Thinking about T.O. now, even as a person playing in FCF, what are some things that, even young receivers can learn from him looking at him now in the NFL?
Well, it's take care of your body. That's one. He worked extremely, extremely hard. It's the mindset too. I think so much of that, wide receivers want the football thrown their way. Wide receivers want to catch a lot of passes. They want the ball in their hands. They want to have an opportunity to go up and make plays. From Terrell Owens' standpoint, he was never covered his entire career in the NFL, because he always felt that even if a cornerback was in his hip pocket, he was strong enough, he was big enough, he was aggressive enough to go up there and get the football. So I think that's kind of the mindset that you need. But I would say that that's the one thing that the wide receivers could kind of glean from him, is just that mindset of never being covered, always wanting the football, other than, of course, how he performed 6 days a week to get his body into the right position with the physicality and everything else to be able to perform on that 7th.
Thank you again to Matt Maiocco, the GOAT of 49ers coverage for NBC Sports Bay Area, for providing us insights to covering T.O. Make sure you check out Matt's 49ers Talk podcast and follow him on Twitter at MaioccoNBCS. T.O. finished second in the voting for NFL Offensive Player of the Year in 2004, but our next guest knows what it's like to finish first. Here's Ed Crouch, the reigning MVP of the People's Championship. I want to go back to last season really quickly. I want to talk a little bit about some of the success that you had. What were some of the things that you feel really brought you to that championship level? Things that you felt like were in that mix that really made you successful for season 1?
Staying positive at all times, communicating with the fans and the owners. Also, me and Jerdy, communicating, making sure we on the same page and getting together with all the other players as well. So everybody on that Wild Aces team, we stuck together since probably the preseason. I've been on the Wild Aces since preseason game, and I haven't moved from there. Well, I played one game with the Glacier Boys, and that was it. So it was about chemistry and also getting dialed in with the fans, getting to know the fans and talking plays and what plays would be good to run.
When you think about your style of playing as QB, what are some QBs that you feel like you either have emulated in terms of style or folks that maybe you kind of closely connected to how you play?
A little bit of Patrick Mahomes style of play, the ability to keep plays going. And I'll say a little bit of Lamar Jackson on athleticism and being able to elude pressure and keeping the play alive. But my favorite quarterback I'll say is Trayvon Boykin that played for TCU, probably 2014, 2015. I was big on him. I watched him a lot. His whole style of play is that's just me all around.
I love that. I mean, again, I've seen you play, and especially, being this really super mobile quarterback, always keep your eye down the field, making sure that you're catching everyone in their routes, and also making sure that you're again, being that entertainer while you play, as well, has been really, really cool to see. You talked about, coming back to the league and being one of the veteran QBs within the FCF. When you think about that, what is some advice for the newbies that you would give at that position who are coming in for their first season in FCF?
Trust in the process, take practice 100%, and believe in Jenkins. That's all I can say.
I love it. I think that needs to be a shirt somewhere. Believe in Jenkins needs to be a shirt.
Believe in Jenkins, and the process is going to be great for you.
I love that. So, we have one more question for you because I really want to ask you this. I think this will be really great for the fans to really think about and for you to be able to share because you have that firsthand knowledge. You have been in this league. You have been a star in this league. You've been the MVP of this league. When you think about for folks who are going to be rooting for you and hoping for you to do really well in this upcoming season, what have been some things you've been working on in your game that will help you get to that championship level again for season 2.0?
Just staying positive always. Just when everything come at you at once, learn how to work through it slowly but surely. Everything can be done at once. So you work through it through a process. Keep your mind focus on one thing and one thing only. If you start trying to handle everything at once, then you get scatterbrained and now you're all over the place. And that's what helped me throughout last year as well. Being calm, and when things going wrong, always be calm because you don't know what happened at the end of the clock when it hit 0-0-0.
Again, Ed, super excited to have you back in the league and super excited to see you, go under center and make some plays this year. For the folks at home who have been waiting for you to come back, do you have anything to say to them?
Oh, yeah. Shout out to my family back at home, moms, dads, my brothers, my sisters. Shout out to 2909 Oliver Apartments. That's where I was working at. So I had a good job, a promising job up there. Shout out to Wichita East High, where I was officer coordinator at. And I'm glad to have y'all behind me and on my side. And thanks for everything y'all did for me to this point.
So, June, I got to thank you for being here with us again. We got to take a listen to Matt's Sounds of the Week. And before we do that, I want to hear a little bit from you about, what were some of the kind of sounds of week one that really stuck with you when you got a chance to be there for week one?
So I think some of the ones that stuck with me was the first has got to be the roar in the stadium whenever a play was made, especially some of those picks that happened, the touchdowns, just like the stadium absolutely erupting. One of my other favorites was I couldn't stop laughing at this every time it happened. There were at least 6 times that I was like, oh, they're about to fight. This is okay. And then they'd hit helmets, hug each other, and walk off. And I'm like, That's not at all how I expected that to go, but okay, cool.
I think one of the things that I loved as well was getting a chance to see your name on the leaderboard, which was super, super cool as well. So again, I hope to see you up in there with those fan IQ points, rocking it out. And again, Doom, thank you so much for being here on the People's Pregame. All right, Matt, hit me with those sounds of the week.
And Woodruff will try and execute what the fans want. Let's fly. Intercepted, taken away. Mike Lee to put a cap on this one to the end zone. Touchdown.
And that's a wrap for this episode of the People's Pregame. We are cooking up so many more good things for you, so make sure you're subscribing wherever you listen to podcasts. And please take a moment to rate and review this podcast so you can help other FCF fans discover our show.
The next episode of the People's Pregame will drop next Thursday, but in the meantime, go ahead and check out our latest episode on your podcast feed of choice and on lx.com/FCF.
And learn how to get involved with the show by following me on Twitter at Khalif Adams and follow Matt at Matt S. Batson. Until next time, we'll see you soon.